can score as as many marks as you can, right? It's quite, which is, I believe this is one of the easiest section where you can score marks. But there must be some strategy how you can go ahead with this, right? So if I ask you one very simple question about this, and this is something which we are doing from class ninth, right? We all have done these unseen passages during our schooling time. So if you got some passage and then you have some questions, and then you need to answer those questions. That's the only thing we do when we were in schools, right? And that's the only thing we do here as well. But now we have to go with some strategy because we need to take care of the timings also. So as fast as we are by in answering this question, better the score we can get, right? So what I feel like there must be two strategies people are adopting when they go for this comprehension. The first one is they first read the passage and then they read the question and then answer, right? And the second strategy is they are reading the question first, then they are reading the passage, and then they are answering the questions. Both the strategies are okay, both the strategies are fine until unless you are comfortable with that. But if you are not comfortable, then I suggest try to go with any particular strategy and practice as many questions as you can. Then certainly you're able to get your answers in less amount of time which you have to spend for answering these questions. So for about this strategy, okay, let me share the screen first so that you have some idea what I'm talking about. I have prepared some, comprehensions. Let me see if you're able to get it. I believe all of you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, just pre-read this out.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you find something little difficult, some words, but try to find on the Google itself because now you have to start studying. You need to build up your vocabulary, otherwise it will be very tough to crack this kind of exams. So just read this out once. I will give you 2-3 minutes. I think that will be good enough. And if you don't know any particular word, just try to find on Google or any other place where you can find it. As a dictionary you can use.
Okay.
Let me mute myself, otherwise it will be keep coming this buzzing sound. Just read it out. All right, so I believe everybody must have gone through this particular passage now, or do you need some more time? Participant, do you need some more time to study, to go through with this passage, or shall I start?
Sir, you can start, sir.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you. So now when you are going through this particular passage, and you will see most of the passage, even if you go for practices on online session, you will find all this kind of passages related to the IT somewhere. So you also have to consider this part whenever you go for any sort of real-time competitive exams. That time they will always try to give you the scenarios which are you know very recent or contemporary. So in this case also, while you are looking at the scenario, you see because of the COVID also, now most of the things are going online. And in this kind of online cases, you can understand what the importance of the IT. Without the IT, even without this IT technology, we won't able to have this kind of meeting because I am sitting in Delhi and you people are sitting at some different places. Then how we can actually come up at this point of time so that we can discuss our things, isn't it? So that's the thing. Whenever you have to go for this kind of exams, you always try to find some real-time contemporary issues which you can discuss, because people will also try to check your knowledge on the same domain. Now about this passage, you must have gone through a number of some words which you might find difficult to understand at first, right? But it doesn't mean you can't do the this kind of passages which you are seeing in your question paper. And to prove this, let me show you the question first, which will help you to understand what I'm saying. So what is the very first question? Why digital objects become inaccessible quickly? Right? Why we won't able to access the digital objects? Basically, that's the question. Now, what is it? Because of unforeseen advancement of technology. Second, it is independent of human intervention. It is independent of any technology advancement, and none of the above. So, if I already you have gone through the passage, if I ask you what could be the best answer out of these four for this question, so what will be your answer? I believe if you want to read this particular passage, even then you're able to answer this question. But still, since you already gone through the passage, I want to know the answer from you people. Kindly help me out. What you feel, which is the best option in this particular, scenario? This is because of unforeseen advancement of technology, because it is independent of human intervention, independent of any technological advancement, and none of the above. I think I'm getting some answer in chat. So its answer is like B and A, right? Okay. So, all right. So might be some people have actually have the, knowledge of this AI and other, coming technology, cutting edge technologies, where we say about we try to make the system automated. So in there, those kind of system, we do not have any sort of human intervention. But believe me, I am a person of IT only. So what I feel, IT systems are designed to support human decisions. They actually are not going to replace humans, isn't it? So whatever the IT is there, you can make some system automated, but it's not like that. You can make the entire IT ecosystem as an automated system. Because if that thing happen, then there will be, some problem. There may be some concerns with the humanity itself. So I feel certainly IT some because the kind of advancement we are making in IT, that again from the human beings side only, right? So certainly IT and humans are connected, and human is the one who actually invented this IT. So I won't say that there will be no intervention of human when you talk about IT. It must be there because they are only our support system. Okay, I believe nobody is saying option C, so it's very nice because certainly whenever we are talking about this IT or the kind of, for example, you have seen in the passage itself, or earlier you might have seen the floppy disks which have been mentioned in the passage itself, or maybe the CD drive. But nowadays you won't find CD drives or floppy disks in your computing devices. You are finding flash drives, pen drives like that. So certainly the kind of things we were doing with the earlier technology, we weren't able to do it with today's technology. Even if you have a floppy right now and you have some data in it, you cannot run that floppy in your system nowadays because you don't have a floppy drive for that, isn't it? So certainly, so technology is somewhere, you know, the kind of things we want to assess because of some unforeseen advancement of technology. Otherwise, we won't able to do that. Now, what we need to do if I want to assess these things, see, just don't focus on this question. Also try to focus on the outcomes of this. Here, the question is why digital objects become inaccessible quickly. Why? Because there's a lot of advancements are happening in the technology. That's the reason the earlier thing which I can able to assess, I won't able to assess using the same sort of scenario, same sort of ecosystem. Because the technology got changed. The thing which I have saved in floppy disks, I cannot access because I don't have hardware to open this floppy drive. Okay, fine. Now, if I need to address this question, then how I can, is it like that I never able to access this kind of objects or the digital objects we have saved? Then what could be the answer for this? Then basically, suppose even in your family, you must have your parents, you know, um, marriage videos, and that might be in the, VCR, video cassette player, basically, you say. So, in that VCR, if you want to access those kind of videos now, your parents' marriage video, because nowadays we don't have the, player for that VCR, then how you are going to play? Then what you do, you simply convert it into some other format, like you will convert into CD or somewhere other place, and then or maybe you keep it in pen drive and then you can play it. So basically what we try to do, we try to change the hardware now. Once we change the hardware, basically we can able to access those digital objects as well. Right? So I believe I cleared your answer. This question, so question number one. So answer must be A. Fine. Uh, Still people are answering B. I don't know why, because digital objects become inaccessible quickly because of lot of advancements are happening in the technology. Okay, let's come to the second part now. Which of the following is true about migration preservation strategy, right? So what is it which is not true about this? So first option is migration is not related to the viewing problem. Migration is related to the viewing problem. Migration requires comprehensive documentation. Migration doesn't have a technical origin. So have you studied anything about the migration in the passage? And basically, what do you understand by this basically, this is data migration. It's not about any other population in migrating from one place to another place. Migration basically moving from one place to another place, right? And here in this context of this passage, we are talking about the data migration. So what you feel like? So what have you seen anything related to migration in the passage? So I'm getting one answer like C. Migration requires comprehensive documentation. Okay. What else? Now I'm getting B as well. Migration related to the viewing problem. Okay. Leave it. I will showcase you all the answer, but let me d- discuss what your understanding about the passage. So I will go to the question number 3 now. What it says, what is the focus of system emulation? What it says, developing systems that mimic hardware, developing system that mimic software, developing systems that mimic file formats, and none of the above. So basically, this mimic means it can, work as in hardware. So maybe we try to make a system which can work as the earlier hardware which we were using instead of the today's date. Suppose if I have some data in floppy drive, then how I'm going to access that particular part, access that floppy drive. So maybe now I can make another components, that hardware which can actually use this floppy drive to access the data from that floppy. Fine. In this, do you think without developing the hardware, we can actually work with the software? If suppose, okay, I believe you all have this, this mobile phone at least with you. So in that mobile phone, there are people who are working with this. They are maybe have some Android phones. They maybe have some iPhones. So if you are using an older version of the hardware, of the Android phone, and some new updates are coming, and then you are finding this update is not for your system, but maybe the people who are having the recent phones, they might be only having that kind of update. So even the software is available. If your hardware is not supporting that thing, you cannot install that update on your mobile phones, right? So that's the only thing we try to do. If I am not able to update, is there any way how can I able to get that update on my phone as well? Maybe I need to make some changes in the hardware. Then only I able to get that particular update in my mobile phone. So whenever you have this kind of system where you have data in some or earlier versions, that time if you want to open those kind of system now, the kind of data you want to open now, you want to have the same sort of hardware which are compatible with that kind of data types. If you don't have that kind of compatibility between the hardware and the kind of data you want to access, it won't able to work here, right? So I believe I have given you a lot of insights about this answer, and you must have got it when you were reading the passage. But if you have not read that till now, that's fine. But I feel you must know the answer of this question number 3 at least. Let me go to the question number 4 once and 5, then we will discuss all the answers. Refreshing preservation strategy focuses on comprehensive documentation of original artifact, development of operating system, not on viewing problem, upgradation of storage mechanism, right? So if I try to preserve, right, I want to refresh the preservation strategy. How I can store data? Again, in terms of data, how I can able to store the data points so that I can actually use it at the, you know, in some current time or in future time also I can use that. So what you feel, if I have to make this kind of strategy, what should be the thing which I must focus on? Should I focus on the comprehensive documentation? Should I focus on the development of operating system? Or should I not look at the viewing problem? Or I will upgrade the storage mechanism. So again, I will tell you the answer, and I believe if you read the passage, you already know the answer. Okay. So now let me come to the final question of this passage. Reinterpretation is a digital preservation strategy where curator intends to upgrade file formats, upgrade storage mechanism, recreate a work, and upgrade operating system. So when talk about the reinterpretation as a digital preservation strategy, what a person who actually making this wants to do. This person wants to upgrade the file format. This person wants to upgrade the storage mechanism. This want to recreate a work, or it will like upgrading a operating system. So I believe again people must have answered the question, but I will tell you the answer first. First A, which I have discussed with you, because of unforeseen advancement of technology, we weren't able to assess the earlier versions of data or the formats we have, in which we have stored the data. Second one says B, what is means? Migration is related to the viewing problem, because if I want able to view the kind of content I'm having, and if I want able to assess that particular, data, then what's the meaning of having this migration preservation strategy, right? I cannot preserve anything if I just simply save it and I never able to assess it again. So what the meaning of this kind of preservation, right? So in the IT related concerns, we always have to store data so that I can use it at a later stage. Second, third, basically A. So what is means? See, I told you without the hardware, software doesn't work. So what my focus must be? Whenever I need to emulate or basically the simulate the system, I make sure that I first have the hardware compatibilities, then automatically the software will come. The first step is hardware and the second step is software. All right. What about the fourth one? D. What is says? When I need to preserve. Again, preservation basically on which particular format I am storing my data points. So upgradation of storage mechanism basically will help me to refresh the preservation strategy for maintaining the data points in my database. And the last one will reinterpretation basically is nothing but the recreation of a work. Right? The answer must be C. Okay. So why it is like this? When see every you must have done some sort of projects also, let me make you understand in that way. You got some insights about your project, and when you are going to your faculty members or any other expert in the field, they say ki what kind of the kind of interpretation you have made here, it might look little fuzzy or maybe vague. So you have to refine it, you have to make it little bit more understandable. So maybe for a single sentence, there might be two or three or four meanings for the same sentence. How you are going to work, because everybody could have a different interpretation for your statements. So that's the thing when you talk about the reinterpretation, maybe I'm talking about how I can able to make my work more efficient, right? And how I can do that by recreating the same work. Because when this word re, it means I need to again do the same task. Interpretation is done once the data is analyzed first. And when I talk about the reinterpretation, again I need to do the same work and let's see whether I am getting the same sort of results or not. In research, we call it your research validation. Because somebody might have used some random numbers, and maybe when they are going to again create the same sort of work, they might not be able to because of the randomness in the number they have generated initially. So in that case, it will be tough to recreate the same work. But yes, nowadays we have a technologies where we can even fix the random number generation strategy. that every time whenever I generate the random numbers, I will get the same random numbers again and again. So that's basically the answer for this particular passage. I think you need to spend a little bit more time on reading the passages, otherwise you won't able to answer the question. Something in this particular passage can be answerable without going through the package, but yes, but for something you supposed to have the knowledge what has been written in the passage. So with this insight, let me take you to the another one. Please read this, and this time please little bit more, whenever you read something, always try to think into your mind that I need to make a summary of this content which I am studying here. So I'm not coming up with lot of big passages here. These are very small passages, and I think you can actually summarize this after reading these particular passages, hardly in 5 to 6 lines. But at least read this first. So I'm muting myself. I will be again unmute myself after 4 or 5 minutes so that you can go through this particular passage and then able to answer the questions which I have prepared for you. I believe you must have gone through with the passage now. Shall we move to the questions now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I believe again, you must have seen there must be some IT component involved here, right? So that's the thing I was talking about. Whenever you will go with this kind of, nowadays, all the passages, you must find some IT component over there, or maybe some women empowerment as well. So this kind of thing you have to go through when you are, preparing for such kind of exams. So what the first question says, what is the cause of concern regarding foreign investment in research? So what it says, scientists and technicians involved in research are not paid well. There are insufficient institutions that can be targeted for research collaboration. The benefit of such investment doesn't get transferred to India. Sufficient method to assess and evaluate the impact of such investment are not available. So what you feel like, what the main cause of concern regarding foreign investment in research? I believe I'm getting lot of answers. So the answer is like D. Okay. We will look into it. Let me also go through the another question first. What this is? The following group of countries are the biggest investor in research. I think for this part you're supposed to add the first question you can answer even without going through this passage. But for this part big here, because we are very much specific in nature, they're talking about the some particular countries which are the biggest investor in research, and these countries must be mentioned somewhere in the passage. So I believe if you have read the passage, you know what the answer for this. So let me see if somebody have given the answer. So somebody is saying D, somebody says C. Okay. So we will look into it again when I have an answer key for this. Let me move the third one. Focus on science and technology has increased because Indian Commerce and Finance Minister are giving great importance to it. World economy has become knowledge based. US State Department gives priority on S&T. Knowledge Commission has identified it as one of the potential area of development. Now I believe to answer this question, you don't have to go through the passage. You can simply understand what the essence of the question and can answer this. You know, let me see if somebody is giving me the answer. Answer is like B. People are saying B. Okay, we'll look into it. Why it is B? Okay, fine. I believe now you are getting the insight which I want to give to you. Because you understand when the focus is they are not talking about one particular country, right? So what it says somewhere it says India, somewhere it says US, somewhere it says Knowledge Commission. I don't know whether this Knowledge Commission are existent or not, right? So, but yes, the world economy basically they are actually working on some knowledge base. So I think your answer is right in case of this. So and everybody is saying B only. So I feel like this is the kind of confidence I need in all of you. Whenever you get the question, you can actually answer that particular option, which is right, and you are confident because everybody is giving the same answer. So I think it must be the right answer. But let me move to the another question also. And also verify, once I will show you the answer key, you also verify the kind of options given you have given as answer, whether they are right or not. If not, then what is the reason behind it? Obviously, I will explain you the answer, what is the logic, why this particular option is only right. But still, I suggest you can also try to look into it, why your answer was not correct earlier. Because we understand from our mistakes only. What it says, foreign companies are outsourcing R&D programs to India because quality in research is quite high in India. Outsourcing is cost effective for foreign companies. There is scarcity of skilled manpower in those countries, and none of the above. I believe all the answers Basically, all the three could be the possible answers if you look into a general sense. Obviously, quality of research, we are doing good nowadays in India. Outsourcing actually cost effective because the kind of, money people have to spend in hiring human resources and all in India a little lesser than the developed countries. There is scarcity of skilled manpower because of the, India being a youngest nation. So certainly, and the, highest populated also. Then certainly we have more manpower than other countries because they might not be having that kind of manpower. And skilled. The main thing here is skilled manpower. So skilled basically the people who actually have the technical know-how of how something could be done. So that is something skilled. So I will let me see what kind of options you have given for this answer. So people are saying A, B, okay. Okay, we'll look into it. What is the answer? Question for five. Most foreign investment is being made in the area of. Again, for this you need to look into the passage because maybe somewhere in the passage it must have mentioned ki where nowadays lot of investment is going on in the research area. So they are saying microbiology and life sciences, computer science and automotive design, physical sciences and planting, grafting and biology. So let's see. I believe all of you must have gone through, have written your own options also because now let me showcase you the answer. The first one is D. What it says? Sufficient method to assess and evaluate the impact of such investment is not available. Do you think you have find this statement somewhere in the passage? Because I remember I have seen the same statement somewhere in the passage itself. See, there is mechanism to monitor the impact of such investment on aspects such as skill development, right? So basically, they don't have a proper assessment system to understand what the impact of the kind of investment has been made in this country, right? So you sometimes will find the exact answers also in the passage, but again, you need to look into that passage first. Second one, again, that will be very specific. Some countries, so the answer is C, and I think a lot of people have given this answer only. So I'm happy that you people are actually going through the passages seriously and able to answer all the questions. Now let's see question number three. It's B. I think most of the people have answered this only B. Then four is B. Outsourcing cost effective for foreign countries good. Because I told you that all this could be the answer, but yes, you need to go through the passage and then you're able to answer. And I believe most of you have answered B only. And what is the last? Again B. So most of the investment people are making in computer science and automotive design. I believe again you must have got this answer from the passage itself. So you see there are a lot of things which you can do, on your own, even without if you have the knowledge of what is happening around you. So that's the main theme of conducting this kind of exam to understand your knowledge of how much aware you are around, about your surroundings and what is happening around you. So that's something we always look into it. Even for this kind of domain, in the management area, there might be some subjective papers also. Okay, for a domain, you have to give some subjective paper and the other, component of this net exam, sub paper two and all. But again, if you have this thing, if you able to score some good marks here, you able to, crack these exams very easy. So, and this is something where you could be very much confident that whatever the thing I have, marking in this particular paper, nobody is able to deduct a single marks out of it. So this is something which is very, we can score a good marks here, or I must say excellent marks. But you the only need to be little bit focused. That's it. That's the only thing you need to do, and then you're able to get all the answers. Let me little bit minimize this, otherwise you won't able to see it on a single screen. So this is again one passage, and after this passage I will give you one practice for which I won't give you the answers, but this one I would like to give you the answers also. So just read it out. I think it's a little lengthy, so I will give you more time for this. So you read it, then by 7:30 I will be discussing you with all the answer for this particular passage, and see if you able to find the IT implementation again in this passage or not. So I will find wherever I am looking it, I will finding some ITs, involved in it. So just read it out. You have 7 minutes, and then we come to the questions. All right, I think now we can start. So before starting, let me ask you two things here. First one is we have one thing like ICT here, and another thing which I can find out in this passage is Six Sigma. So I believe you must have some knowledge about these two terms, right? ICT basically related to the IT term, and Six Sigma is a methodology which will help me to find out what kind of errors I am making in my processes. So if you have this knowledge of ICT and Six Sigma, because there might be some questions on this when I'm looking in this particular passage, I feel like you must be aware of these two terms first. Okay, so let me go to the source questions now. What it says first one? What is the impact of ICTs on library and information centers? All libraries are digitized, increased manpower, improved finances, enhanced information access and sharing. So I believe I'm getting a lot of answers and everybody giving the same answer. So I think this must be the right answer. And do you feel, just write down in the chat box whether you have to read the passage to answer this question or not. Just write down a yes or no. Whether if you feel like you're supposed to read the passage, then only you can answer, then write yes. Otherwise, you can answer no. Yes, very good. Because there is something which are very generic and very specific in nature, and you don't actually have to, read the passages for all these kind of things. You know why governments are working on this ICT and this, why they want to make this kind of infrastructure, because they want everybody to get the information, right? Once this COVID has come, everybody has the access of YouTube, and now you see in every home you will find one cook, a great cook. Why? Because the kind of information have been provided to the people, so they actually empowered now. So there I have seen lot of news, from Tamil Nadu that people are going for the organic farming, and they are having their own nowadays. They are working quite good with the dairy farms as well. So people, when they have the access to knowledge, they can do wonders, right? And I think that is something which is very relevant nowadays. So information is something which everybody have should have the access. So that's the reason in data in the IT domain we also have the right to information or right to data. Okay, all right. So let's move to the question number two. Why do the users need assistance from the librarian to access information on the web? So what it says, semantically connected, ontologically structured, poorly structured, and inaccurate information. So what you feel, why you need help from a librarian when you want to access something on the web? So let me see what the answer for this. So somebody says A, somebody says B. Okay. But I feel this answer somewhere has been mentioned in the, specifically the same words have been mentioned in the passage itself. If you have gone through that thing, where now people are coming to the thing, they specifically mentioned this part. Why basically you want a librarian to help you out while assessing the information on web. Okay, I will discuss this thing later. Because I don't want to give the answer right now. I just want to see what you are writing. Okay. Question number third. What is the user's preference in network environment? So what basic, suppose I am a user and I want to go to internet or maybe in our institute library. So what kind of preferences I might be having? What I want? I want exhaustive information. I want access to diversified information at ease. I want cost effective information, or there could be like answer of A and C like exhaustive information. with cost effective, ways. So let me see what answer I am getting here. Answer is like B. Okay, good. Okay, so everybody saying B only. Fine. So we will look into it. What is the right answer for this? Now, how Six Sigma does lead to quality services in libraries? Six Sigma again is a methodology I told you, which will help me to understand the defect rate, the error rate I'm making, what kind of errors I'm making when I'm working on some process. Right? Lesser the error, better the process, better the service provider I am. So what is how this Six Sigma methodology can help me to understand quality service in library. So what it could say, it may say assess the quality of services, perceives users' needs, suggests tool and techniques to organize data, or provides tailor-made services. So I believe this is very simple now because if you know the Six Sigma, you know the answer what Six Sigma do. And but my answer, getting the answer like D. Okay. So I believe the concept of Six Sigma is not clear. But anyways, I will help you out with this concept also. Just give me a moment. Let me go to the question number 5 also. What is to be done to improve customer service in library and information centers? What we can do? So it can we can provide access, user needs, user-friendly processes could be made, strategic policies can be made, or both A and B, we can assess user needs and we can give them a user-friendly processes. So now let's go to the, okay, first let me see what kind of options you have opted for this. So everybody is saying D, both A and B. All right, let me check it. Fine. So let's go to the answer key. First one is D, enhanced information sharing, very nice. I think you all have gave the right answer in the first instance only. So I am very happy with this. Second one, earlier there are some, second answer is C. Earlier there was some, confusion like people are saying semantically connected, onth- ontologically structured. See, if there is any sort of which is semantically, basically the way, cement, from where this word is coming, semantically. There are semantics. Like whenever you have to make some structure, there must be some properly structure defined for that. Okay, first subject will come, then verb will come, then object will come. Like this, we have one structure. So if everything is connected in that particular format, then certainly it's quite easier to get the things. If I have one structured database, so I know that one this I will have to go in this table, from this table I can move to another table. And because I know where my last word is, the desired output or the desired data point which I'm looking forward in a database, I can simply get it because I know the way. I know the connection. Okay, I will give you a very simple example on this. All of you must have, in your house there must be some wiring, and then certainly you find out that one of the, this light bulb is not working. And it's not like that bulb is, fused or anything else. Bulb is fine. The only problem you will find, even the switch is fine. Then where the problem lies? Now the problem lies somewhere in the wiring from this switch to that particular light bulb. But if you have the drawing of your, electrical drawing of your house, how the wire has been laid down, then you can easily get where the fault is coming and which particular wire you need to look into it. If it is not there, what will happen? You have to might have gone through the complete circuit board, the electric board you have at your house, or maybe you have to look at the every, single point in your house, and then you will only able to understand, okay, in this particular wire the fault is coming, right? And here the this wire is there. So all this kind, when the things are structured, when the things are connected, then it is quite easier to get things from any particular place, whether it's a web, it's a database, it's your house, anywhere. You have kept all the thing in a proper manner in your house, in your kitchen. You know where the salt is there, where the sugar is there. So you just go, you just get it, isn't it? So that's the way. If the things are connected or structured, then certainly it's quite easier to get the answer. And then obviously the when the poor structure is there, then we won't able to get the answer, isn't it? So that's the right answer for this. Okay, let me move forward with the question number 3. What it says. Okay. So what the answer for C? Third basically is B. Assess to, I think everybody have given the answer B only, I remember. What's the user's preference in network environment? Because see, already you have invested money while making with all this kind of ICT in your library system, isn't it? So now if you are not using that, then it doesn't make it any cost effective, isn't it? Already you have spent lot of money on that to make this kind of infrastructure for your, library system. And now you are saying I want to use this so that I can save money. Already you spend money. So once when you already on the networked environment, what's the fun of when we talk about the cost effectiveness? And why I need this exhaustive information? Basically, what I can want, okay, I want to study one particular topic. Suppose I want to do the literature survey for my PhD. And I want something, maybe the topic I'm looking forward, not much of work has been done on the same thing. But I need to understand if the similar sort of work has been done in any other domain also. So I need a lot of diversified information. So which I can get easily. Otherwise, what will happen? Even if you go to offline, libraries, what you will find some sections like this is computer science, this is management, this is economics, this is biology. And then if I need to get all the kind of information, so first I need to go through all the books in the computer science, then I go to all the books in biology section, and then I able to get this. So even when you go in offline mode, it will take a lot of time for you to get what you actually required. But in this case, you just simply look in the biology section, you will find the required book. Look into the IT section, you will get the IT books. So that way, basically, it will help you out so that you can easily get all the what kind of information you require, and that is actually is diversified. Because in that case, you can actually link two domains or three domains, whatever the domains you want to add on there. Okay. So now let me move to the fourth one. What the answer is? A. I told you now when we talk about Six Sigma, what it says is talk about the error rate, it talk about the, you know, deficiencies I am making in my process. So when I try to find it, I try to find the quality of the services. Whether how many products I have been making, they have some default, they have some fault there or not. For example, whenever you go to the market and you buy some food packet, like you go for chips, Lays, or any other brand, then what is happening? You will find out that they have mentioned this is the weight for this particular packet, packet which you are buying. You are buying 100 grams or 50 grams packet you are getting. Now, what will happen if you go and if you weigh this particular packet which you bought from the market, and it comes like the kind of the money you paid for that much of weight, but you actually not getting that kind of weight when you are going to buy this particular packet. Thus, you won't be satisfied with the kind of service provided by this particular manufacturer or the producer because you feel like I paid for this much of stuff, but I got lesser than that. And what happen if this become a frequent practice from the organization? Every time they are putting less, chips in your packet, then if everybody go for the legal action against this particular organization, they keep they can't make any profit then. Every time they need to pay some more money to the people because they actually not able to give the desired amount which they have mentioned in their on their packets. So this kind of things, we can avoid when we have this kind of methodology adopted in our organization, which is nothing but Six Sigma. So we try to make sure all the packets which we are, packaging in the factory setup, that must have that kind of weight. And even we have the, tolerance of 5 or maybe 0.001%. So that much of tolerance is okay, fine. People won't consider when people won't see that kind of tolerance also. But as per my end, I need to make sure whatever I promise to my customer, I need to deliver that. Fine. So in that case, Six Sigma methodology will always reject the kind of packets which are having lesser weight, which I have mentioned in my system that I want all the packets of this particular weight along with this much of tolerance level. Fine. So it will actually help me to improve or to assess the quality of the services which I am providing. So that is nothing but that is a Six Sigma standards we are following in any organization. Six Sigma says if you produce 1 billion, right? 1 billion of products, then on there is a, you know, flexibility of only 2 products that could be defective. Otherwise, you won't following the Six Sigma standard. But if you go to the internet and you will find out about the what is the rate or the standard for the Six Sigma, you will find out if you produce 1 million of product, you have a flexibility of having 3.4 product could be defective. But that actually not the Six Sigma, that's actually 4.5 Sigma, which is standardized by the industries because achieving the standard, which is actual Six Sigma, like if you produce 1 billion products and you have a flexibility of only 2 products could be defective, is not actually feasible to maintain, right? So we will talk this kind of subject when we talk about the data analysis, we talk about the operations management. But still, I think you can understand the essence of this Six Sigma methodology, why it is required, how it is very useful, and how it will help you out to assess the quality of services. That's the reason I told you I need to explain this concept to you. That's the reason I kept here. I kept some time here to make you understand. Okay. Now, what is to be done to improve customer service? I think all of you have given the right answer, which is D, because I want to understand what user is requiring and what the next. I need to give user a friendly processes so that the user can easily fetch the required information, whatever he or she requires. Right? Okay. So now the last practice set, I think I must be having here, yes. But this I don't want, I will go to the reverse process now. I don't go with the top bottom up. Let me go with the another approach so that you understand whether you need to read this or not. So I need answer from all of you if you are here with me. So what this first question says, that's a different passage. So don't read it with all the thing which you have studied till now. It is something different now. Understanding of new students on referencing is based on, referencing whenever you study something and you want to use that same thing in your work also. So you need to refer that work in your study. Okay, somebody, Dr. Rajkumar studied this particular study and then he make some model and you feel like you want to, cite the work of Mr. Dr. Rajkumar in your work also, then you have to mention that in your work that I have taken this part of this work from Dr. Rajkumar work. Fine. So that is nothing but the referencing. So what student have the, what they understand with the referencing word. So it says plagiarism, it says fear, ability to write, and insatiable desire to run. So let me see what the answer I am saying. It says D, C, B, Okay. So I'm not telling you the answer right now. I just want to understand what kind of answer you're getting without reading. And it's fine. If your answer is wrong, it's fine, absolutely fine, because you have not gone through the passage yet. But whatever you feel like in general sense, this is the question, what could be the right answer for this? Then you are simply try to answer it. Educational approach which aims at reducing plagiarism should be linked with building referencing skills of the students, inculcating reading habits of the students, building students as information literate, and ignorance of the students on methods of social research. So let me see what answer you people are giving. It's like C, A, B, A. Okay, so we are getting different answer for this. Fine. Let me move forward. An appropriate response to deliberate act of plagiarism means, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism basically means Dr. Rajkumar has done some work and you are quoted his work in your work without giving proper citation to that work,
Yes.
right? So that is nothing but the plagiarism. Then how we can actually make something, I can actually stop this kind of, things. So it says to debar student from library use. I won't let student use the library again. To orient the student about plagiarism, I just simply tell about the student that this is what is plagiarism, you should not avoid and all. To avoid punishment, I will punish the student by putting some penalties and all. To make him learn about referencing. I will make him understand what is referencing is, why we have to use this. So now is what it says, what is punitive thought. Punitive school of thought basically, which is earlier thoughts, what how we actually what we going to do with this kind of students who actually do this plagiarism act knowingly, deliberately. Means they know that this is something which is not right. Still they are doing it. So in that kind of case, what we usually do. So I've got lot of answers. We'll look into it later. Okay. Now come to the question number 4. To restore a level of balance is advocated reflected in which approach? Deterrent approach, reformative approach, punitive approach, restorative approach. So if you know these approaches, it's not like that you will understand these approaches only by reading the passage, but these are some generic approaches we usually use. So if you have studied somewhere, maybe your subject matter expertise is there, then you know what basically the kind of approach you can use here. But if you don't know, then I'm sure you won't be able to answer it. So it's fine, you don't answer it. And the next one is, okay, I won't show you the answer for this. I will share the answer with Dr. Raj. And once we will get all the answer from you, then you can actually get the answer for this. Last one, lack of understanding of students about reference is linked to their ideas, words, experience, intuition. I think that you can answer. If student have no idea of referencing, just like earlier version, we don't have the access to information, but we keep writing something, we keep doing something, and we feel like this is my own work. This question related to the same scenario. So if some student have not aware of the referencing, so what the kind of thing they are doing, they are related to those things with their ideas, that this is my idea only, or maybe they are their own words, they have it's their own experience or intuition. So any answer I'm getting for this? I'm not getting any answer for this. Okay, I got one. C A. Okay, fine. Okay, so I just give you more 5 minutes to read this passage and try to see if you gave the right answer or not. and then I will share the answers with Dr. Raj. And Dr. Raj will share with all of you what is the right answer key for this five questions. Just read it out for 5 minutes, 4 minutes. By that time, I will be able to wind up my session by 8, which is, given the timeline given by Dr. Raj. All right, I think I have seen people who are underwriting, lining also. Uh, They are able to get some answers from the passage itself. So I am happy with that. That you are quite serious while you are reading the passage. So again, let me now once you have gone through the passage, let me again come to the questions, and I believe this time you are able to get the answers. The understanding of new students on reference is based on you can give your answers. Again, maybe this time you can improvise. Then educational approach, which aims at reducing plagiarism, should be linked with. Then third is an appropriate response to deliberate act of plagiarism according to punitive school authorities to restore a level of balance. and lack of understanding. So let me give you the answers now only so that you won't have that thing in your mind that what could be the right answer for those. So first is B, is nothing but the fear, because they feel like if I not able to refer something which I supposed to refer, then maybe I will have to face lot of penalties. So student, what they have some fear about the referencing. Either they don't know the correct way of referencing. Moreover, they are afraid if they lose, forgot to mention some person whose work they have cited, they might be, caught under some sort of laws. What is second? Educational approach basically is nothing but we need to build the referencing skills of the students so that they know they should not fear of the referencing. They should know how to use the referencing for their own benefit. Third one is, what is the punitive school of thought? Basically, the very basic thought. When somebody, you know, we found someone deliberately doing the plagiarism, we actually put give some punishments. That is nothing but the punitive soul of thought, that we need to give some punishment to the student who actually knowingly doing the plagiarism, right? Fourth one is level of restoring. So obviously it must be the restorative approach, because I want to restore, and it says in the question itself, restore. Level of balance. That's the reason the approach must be restorative. And the last, I think somebody has already marked it. So when you have the lack of understanding of students about referencing, then this thing linked to their own words only. So that's all from my end for today's session. I hope you able to, you know, understand the significance of this topic, which is comprehension. Is quite easier. You can able to get a good score in it. The only thing is you need to be a little bit more focused when you are reading this kind of comprehensions. Plus, you also need to make sure you are well aware about your surrounding, what is happening around you, so that if any case of like contemporary things are coming, so you're able to answer them even with the scarcity of time in the exam. So that's all from my end. Thank you very much for patientful listening. So I'm handing over the dice to Dr. Raj now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Vikas Bhatnagar. During your busy schedule, you accept our request and handling the session in the early morning. Thank you so much for your presence.
It's
And
always a pleasure, Dr.
I
Raj.
assure yeah, thank you. I assure to you, our participant definitely perform well in the part of comprehensions. And thank you for your valuable insights in the field of comprehensions. Once again, I thank to the Dr. Vikas Bhatnagar on behalf of organizing team and the participant. Thank you all. And dear participant, we have another session at evening 6:30. The resource person from Dr. K. Balasubramanian from Tyagarajar College of Madurai, and the unit is mathematical reasoning and aptitude. Thank you. Thank you all. We will meet in the evening. Because thank you. I will contact by phone.
Sir, may you get the recordings? Is it available?
Yeah,
Yeah, sir.
yeah, we have
Sir.
a recording and we have to upload to the
Okay, okay,
channels
sir,
and
sir.
we will share in the group.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.